Guess what, guy? What's going on, guys? It's Barry here with the Scryguystv, and today I got another deck tech for you guys. And guess who's in town? The mayor. Okay, well, horrible intros out of the way. Today we're going to be doing the deck tech on Kambal Profiteering Mayor. It is a 1 and Orzhov legendary creature human advisor. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them create a tapped token that's a copy of it. This ability triggers only once per turn. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So it's really cool. It's going to make people think twice about their dockside plays. Really cool if you have cards like Amulet of Vigor in this deck, because then those tokens don't come in tapped. But this is a $100 deck, so it's probably not going to have Amulet of Vigor in there. Sorry for you guys. But we really want to focus on the second portion of it, where we're going to create incremental tokens and gain a life, lose a life for our opponents. That's where our bread and butter is going to be for this deck. But for the second portion, the first portion is really cool. It's just a nice little caveat that, like, someone has to think twice about popping off with their tokens, because you get them as well. And if they can't win that turn and it gets back to your turn, whether it's a dockside or it's maybe an Avenger of Zendikar, maybe they also have incremental token production as well. We are also going to get those things. Now, one thing I do have to say though is that if they create a token before their dockside plays, then you don't get to have that. Like, it'd be really cool if you could pick and choose, right? But unfortunately you can't. So that's why we can't really focus or count on our opponents to create those tokens for us. So mainly I wanted to focus on the second portion of this guy. So let's look at the token productions. Let's make some tokens. So we're gonna have cards like Lotho, Corrupt Sheriff, which is gonna be a Orzhov commander or legendary creature halfling. Whenever a player casts their second spell, you lose a life and you create a treasure token. But when we create that treasure token, if our commander is out, it will negate the loss of life and actually gain us. It will just negate the loss of life. Sorry, but we get a free treasure token on every second spell. Really great creature to come out very early in the game. If you are playing a much more expensive version of this deck, possibly turn 1 Lotho and turn 2 Kambal, and then you're off to the races. We also have Baron Bertram Greywater, which is a new uncommon card from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, 2 an Orzhov legendary creature, Vampire Noble. Whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, you also get to create a 1/1 black Vampire Rogue. It only triggers once per turn, but you can pay 1 in a black, sacrifice another creature or artifact, and draw a card. So it's a nice card draw effect for the later game, but also it's just gonna also let us create more tokens as the game goes on. Another sweet one to have very early on, because if you had this and Lotho, then with Kambal out, you're creating they're 2 separate instances or 2 separate triggers. So then you're going to get a gain a life, or not the negation of the life gain from Lotho. You'll get a free treasure, but then with the 1/1 vampire, you get to gain a life when everybody loses 1, and then with that you could also sack them. So really cool little synergy. Obviously sometimes people call this Magic Crystal Land, but sometimes it's just so, the benefits are so small sometimes that sometimes your opponents let that slide, but not all the time. And then a classic token production maker, Endrixar, Master Breeder, 4 in a black legendary creature human wizard. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you create X 1/1 thralls, and then when you control 7 or more, you have to sacrifice them. So really cool if you have a sacrifice outlet like Baron Bertram Greywater to keep that thrall count down, to always be able to create thrall tokens, whether they serve as blockers or fodder for our other abilities. We don't know, but the longer this guy stays on board, the more value we just get off of him from other abilities from our deck. but just a classic, guys. Dread Horde Invasion, 1 in a black. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and you amass 1 zombie. If you have a zombie with power 6 or greater, it gains life link until end of turn. Really cool. Maybe if we're just keeping the amass token as a sack fodder for something, then every turn we're negating that loss of life with our commander, and we're just gonna constantly have a 1/1 body. Now, if you have a little bit more of a budget, you can just trade this in for Bitter Blossom, because then you just get you're still able to retain the life gain without needing a sacrifice outlet to do that, because amass just puts a counter on an amass zombie. It doesn't produce another zombie, just for those who don't know yet. But we do have the budget Bitter Blossom Skrellov's, I don't know, is it Hive, 1 in a white enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose a life and create a 1/1 Phyrexian Might with Toxic 1. As long as an opponent has 3 or more poison counters, creatures you control with Toxic have lifelink. So by itself, it could possibly turn on lifelink for all your your Phyrexian Mights, but with our commander, also it will also just negate the life loss from our commander's second ability. And then we have Felidar Retreat. It's almost like a pet card at this point, but 3 in a white enchantment landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, choose one. Create a 2/2 cat beast creature, or you can put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain vigilance. So really sweet. Early on in the game, you can create a bunch of 2/2s if you have fetch lands and all that stuff. Either the expensive kind or the more cheaper kind that's available now. And then later on, you can go ahead and start buffing those creatures up to swing out, and then you don't have to worry about the crackback because they all get vigilance. And it's a 4-drop, so really cool card. I always try to fit this into decks. Next, we got Okitcher's Monument, a 3-mana artifact, legendary artifact. White creatures white creature spells you cast cost 1 less, and then whenever you cast a creature spell, you get a 1/1. So again, triggering the second portion of our commander's ability. We have Horn of Condor, 3-mana legendary artifact. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier, and then you can tap it for 3. Create X 1/1s white human soldiers, where X is the number of humans you control. We do have a fair amount of humans in this deck, and then if you want to go ahead and fix this deck a little bit more, you can fit a little bit more humans in there to really go off with this deck. This could be like your hidden card, but yeah, just a really sweet card. Really sweet tech to be able to constantly create some token production. And then we have Halo Fountain, 2 and a white, also just a possible win con for us. Artifact, you could pay 1 white, untap a target creature you control, create a 1/1 green and white citizen, pay 2 white, untap 2 tapped creatures, draw a card, and then untap 15 tapped creatures you control, and you win the game for 6 white mana. This card kind of incentivizes you to at least either attack with your creatures, or if you have like things that if you want to make this one of your main win cons, you could put a couple of vehicles in here, so you can go ahead and crew or mount 1 creature, so then you can just go ahead and untap 15 of them and then win the game. Probably my favorite one though is Rabble Rousing, 4 and a white enchantment, hideaway 5. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the card you may pay the exile card without paying its mana cost. It's really here just for the token production. Whatever we hide away, you could hide away something non-important. You could just hide away a land or something, just because for the most part this might get removed because people usually don't want people to cast spells for free, and so just for your own peace of mind, just put land under there, so if they get rid of it, it's pretty dangerous enchantment too, because you're also creating just that many tokens. So yeah, definitely just hide away land and just have it in here for the 1/1 citizen tokens. All right, mo tokens, less problems. We have Skull Climb. We're making a whole bunch of 1/1s in here, so 1 mana and 1 equip to draw 2 cards. I don't even have to explain that. We have Idol of Oblivion, 2-man artifact, tap, draw a card, activate only if you created a token this turn. We're going to be creating a lot of tokens, and just in case you need an emergency blocker, you can sacrifice it for 8 mana to create a 10/10 Eldrazi creature token. And we have Vampiric Rites, another way for us to sort of take advantage of all the tokens that we're going to be creating. 1 mana enchantment, 1 in a black, sacrifice a creature, you gain a life, and you draw a card. It's just pretty solid just for like this build that we're doing for $100. We have Nadir's Nightblade, 2 in a black creature elf warrior. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. So again, we're sticking with the Aristocrats theme, sort of kind of like, I mean, it's already built into the commander, so it's kind of the lane that you're going to be in. We have Benny Brack's Zoologist. 3 in a white legendary creature elf druid. This creature can be one white because it has Convoke on it, and at the beginning of each end step, if you created a token this turn, draw a card. Sweet. You know, hopefully by the turn it gets back to your turn, you've drawn at least 2 cards, 3 at the best. You know, 4 at yours if you're counting yourself. So. And then it's just gotten a lot cheaper because it got reprinted in the Karlov Manor decks. So pick them up now. It was like a $25 card like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And Mirkwood Bats. I think if you're playing black and you're playing tokens, Mirkwood Bats is just an automatic include at this point. Flying 3 mana and 3 in a black creature bat, flying whenever you create it or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses life. It's a 2/3. It's a common from the Lord of the Rings set. You got to get this if you're building tokens, any kind of token deck. Vampires, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I say vampires because of Edgar Markov. Then we also need a way to sort of take advantage of those. Intangible Virtue, 1 in a white. Creature tokens you control get +1/+1 and Vigilance. So this will kind of is a nombo with Skull Clamp, but you want to play this when you can take advantage of it at the full portion of it. Inspiring Leader, 2 in a white. Commander creature, legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you control have creature tokens you control get +2/+2. So just another way for us to buff. This is a nice end game play right there. And then we have Bastion of Remembrance, 2 in a black. When it enters the battlefield, create a human soldier, 1/1. And then whenever a creature you control dies, everybody loses a life and you gain a life. Simple and clean. Marshall, so this is going to be like board wipes that kind of give us tokens as well. We can't really take advantage of the tokens because Kambal will probably be dead unless we have a protection spell for it. But Marshall Coop, you pay 7 mana, make 5 1/1s and destroy all other creatures. Same with Blot Out the Sky, but this one's going to give us 2/1 Inkling creatures with flying, and X has to be 6 or more. Oh no, if X is 6 or more, destroy all non-creature, non-land permanents. So it's going to completely wipe the board and leave us with 2/1 flyers. I kind of want to see this more in play. I mean, 8 mana is a lot though, so don't get me wrong. And then we have Gruesome Fate, 2 in a black sorcery. Each opponent loses 1 life for each creature you control. So if we have a bunch of creatures, then a bunch... which we should have a bunch of creatures in this deck. This could possibly be just a common I win the game card for this deck. I've seen that card played in I think Golgari Elves as well. So Afterlife Insurance is 1 and Hybrid Orzhov. Instant creatures you control gain Afterlife 1 until end of turn, draw a card. So just in case someone wants to board wipe you can have a little bit of insurance to at least still have a board after that board wipe is done. And so whenever our creature dies, we're going to create 1/1 white and black spirit creature with flying. And this is sweet because it doesn't say like non-token creatures, it just says creatures. And if we have a bunch of creatures on the board already and they go for a board wipe, maybe what's it called, like a Supreme Verdict or something like that, this does not get around farewells though. So just in case you guys don't know, I believe this was only in the clue set, but I'm probably wrong. We have Phyrexian Reclamation, 1 black, enchantment, 1 and a black, pay 2 life, return target creature card from your graveyard to our hand. Just a nice way for us to sort of keep on abusing our graveyard. Maybe we've gone through a couple board wipes already, and then at the end step, pay 2, 4, 6, however many you can to sort of recur all, not recur, but like at least bring back all the creatures that you had lost back to your hand to play again. And then Ascend from Avernus, X and 3 white. Sorcery, return all creatures and Planewalker cards with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and then exile it. A pretty solid card, I think. It's if it was Moto, it would just be like the black version of it. I forgot what that one was called, but I don't think this gets enough play. But the 3 white, 3 pips of white is pretty difficult, so I get it. And that is going to be Kambal Profiteering Mayor. Let me know what you guys think. The build is $100, so there's a lot of wiggle room in there. You can even go 50 if you want. It all depends on your play group, but let us know what you guys think. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'm sorry for being so jittery during this video. I just had a lot of coffee. But thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to like and comment, subscribe, and we appreciate you guys. Have a good day.